Dexter Season 4 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am rewatching or watching Dexter, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description for you. If that happens to be the case and you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. This will be Dexter Season 4, Episode 11. The title of this episode is called Hello, Dexter Morgan. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we have the interrogation of Christine Hill beginning. Batista asks why she shares the Trinity Killer's DNA. And then Batista threatens Christine to give them a name. Dexter is going to set someone up to be the Trinity Killer, and then he'll get rid of that person. It has to be somebody that was guilty of a bunch of crimes, because he wants Arthur Mitchell all to himself. Arthur calls Kyle, and he says he wants money. Kyle says, or Dexter says as Kyle, that he wants $50,000. Matthew shows up at the station and shows Maria and Angel surveillance footage of them kissing at a store. Maybe it was a liquor store. And then Dexter finds a person that he's going to lead them to be Trinity, Sam Beaudry. Arthur is trying to get into somebody's place in broad daylight, and this person comes home and says he's going to call the cops. Bad idea, buddy. Rita confesses to Dexter that she kissed Elliot right before one of their therapy sessions, and then Dexter gets a call and has to go to a crime scene. The victim's name is Kyle Butler, the one that was saw Arthur try to break into his place, and Arthur had killed the guy because he said he was going to call the cops. But it's crazy that his name is Kyle Butler. And we saw Trinity looking, or Arthur looking in the phone book at Kyle Butler in the phone book. Deb and Angel find postcards at Christine Hill's place, all of them from her dad. They determined that her dad must be, well, we know she's related to Trinity, and that must be what her dad is. Her dad is the Trinity Killer. Dexter goes to another Kyle Butler's place, gives him the M99, and says Arthur will come here next, and I'll be waiting. Christine says she's never seen the postcards that Angel shows her, and that they planted them, or they must have planted them. Deb mentions to Quinn about being involved with the Ice Crook Killer because he's kind of down on the fact that Christine, to his opinion, was just using him. But I don't think that's really the case. I think she generally liked him. Batista says they're keeping Christine overnight again. Quinn says, good, let her fucking rot. Dexter finds Stan Beaudry's place, a shack in the middle of nowhere. Dexter goes home and Rita apologizes for letting Elliot kiss her. Dexter's like, okay, whatever, I don't really care. And Rita's a little annoyed that he's not mad about it, I guess. And then Arthur goes to Christine's place and sees the caution tape there, knowing that something is up with Christine. Dexter goes to Arthur's place and gets some things with his DNA on it. Deb gives talking to Christine a chance, but Christine, she just won't crack. She's tough. Batista and LaGuerta get married, as Dexter was called in saying there was an emergency, and the emergency was that they needed him to be the witness to their marriage, and Dexter's a little annoyed by that. And then Dexter finds out where Stan the Man Beaudry is and gets him on his table quick, kills him rather quickly, and Beaudry puts up a little bit of a verbal fight before that happens. And then Dexter plants a bunch of stuff in Beaudry's truck, including Lundy's Trinity books and a photo of Christine Hill. And then he goes to Beaudry's place and plants some more stuff, including the hammer that Arthur had given him and a comb with, of course, Arthur's DNA on it. And then Dexter gets home and he actually confronts Elliot, tells him to stay the hell away from his wife, and punches Elliot, which is crazy. And then Rita is actually witnessing this and had a bag of ice ready for his hand. And Dexter's like, I'm sure you're mad at this. No, I'm not mad. I'm just glad that you actually cared that much. So Rita's happy that Dexter just punched another guy. LaGuerta and Batista tell Matthews that they're married. Matthews is furious and says, this is bullshit. I have a sworn affidavit that you guys would, And then they all end up going to Beaudry's place, Batista, Deb, and company, they search Beaudry's place and they find all the evidence that Dexter had planted, with Dexter there, of course, as well, linking him to supposedly be the Trinity Killer. Arthur tells Christine he's sorry she was ever born on the phone. Don't ever call me again. And then while at the crime scene, I got a bug flying by me, Deb gets a call that Christine would like to talk to her and only her. Christine tells Deb that that her dad hates her, and Deb had went to her place because they had to let her go. And then Christine confesses to shooting her and killing Frank Lundy, and then says that she's so sorry. And then she actually asked Deb for forgiveness. And then Jennifer Carpenter, as Deb, has like this horrid look like, well, you can't do this. I'm just going to bring you the fuck in. And she says, fuck you. And then Christine Hill grabs a gun that she had tucked away and shoots and kills herself. Rest in peace to an underrated character on Dexter, in my opinion. And then Dexter goes to the arcade to find Arthur, as he had called him, and he heard the noise in the background. And Dexter can't find Arthur anywhere. Deb calls and tells Dexter the news about Christine Hill. She says she needs some family right now, and Dexter says he's on the way, as he has to play brother now instead of serial killer. We see that Arthur is actually watching this from above, and this was all a setup to see if Dexter was following him. And or Kyle, and his, he's known him as Kyle. And he follows Dexter back to the station and walks into Miami Metro and asks if there is a Kyle Butler working there. And they're kind of like, no. And then Arthur actually grabs somebody's visitor badge and puts it on. Now, Dexter goes to talk to Deb, and she tells him that she's afraid to erase Frank Lundy's name, because then it will all be over on the whiteboard. And then Dexter actually offers to erase Frank Lundy's name on that whiteboard. And Deb says, yeah. And then she says, or she decides to change her mind and says that she's got it. And Deb emotionally erases Frank Lundy's name off the whiteboard. Very hard moment for Deb, because it doesn't fix anything. Lundy's still dead, but at least she found out who killed him. And then Arthur is still walking through the station and sees a display case with pictures of the homicide bowling team in there. And Kyle is in one of those pictures, and his shirt, though, says Dexter on it. Arthur goes to homicide and looks in kind of like the room that they have, the briefing room, with all the Trinity victims on the board and the cases on the board. And Arthur is actually admiring his work. And then Arthur walks into where all the homicide deaths and that are. I'm sure Soderquist was somewhere in the background. Come to think of it, I don't think I noticed Soderquist in this episode. The episode is so crazy and so fast-paced, and so many things happen in this episode that I don't think I noticed Soderquist, surprisingly enough. I'm sure he was there somewhere in the background, but Arthur walks through, and then Dexter spots Arthur, and then Arthur spots Dexter. So Dexter walks up to Arthur, and Arthur Mitchell looks at Dexter's laminate and says, "Hello, Dexter Morgan," to end the episode. Oh my fucking God. I love this episode of Dexter. It is lots of crazy developments in there. Very fast-paced episode. So much happened in this particular episode. Of course, you have the unfortunate suicide of Christine Hill in this episode. You had Dexter killing Stan Beaudry, and then making him to be the Trinity Killer, at least to throw Miami Metro off throw him off the Arthur Mitchell. Just Arthur finding out where Dexter works, and then hello, Dexter Morgan, and just so many things. Dexter punching Elliot. This episode was crazy. Now, when I first watched the episode back in 2014, it didn't register with me then. But every time after that I watched this episode, I love this episode even more. In fact, this is my second favorite episode of Dexter, at least at the moment. Of course, I got another episode that I'm about to watch here that might be I think that's still number one, but maybe it isn't. Who knows? But what a crazy episode. As far as the characters of this episode, well, For our female characters, it really can only go to one person. Christine Hill was amazing. Obviously, Deb and Maria Galaguerta were pretty awesome as well. And then my choice for the male character of the episode, I mean, you have to hand it to Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer. He was freaking crazy in this episode. The hello, Dexter Morgan was just great. Honorable mention to Angel Batista as well, and even Matthews with his brief showing in this episode was pretty intense. And then of course you have Quinn, but Arthur and Christine, in my opinion, father and daughter, are the characters of the episode. Although Deb was really good in this episode too. And then our villain of the episode, other than Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, would be Stan Beaudry. And while he really didn't have an opportunity to showcase his antagonistic skills, just before Dexter was going to kill him on the table, he was talking a lot of shit to Dexter. And for that brief moment, I'm going to give Stan Beaudry a 6 out of 10, because I think he would have been a very good villain had he been given more of an opportunity to showcase his talents as a villain and as a guy that was wrong, that killed people before but got away with it. And then another thing that I want to mention about this episode was the music in the episode. As the fast pace that was happening in this episode, there was like a music that was happening where Dexter was going to different places and putting like the evidence of Trinity there. I don't know what it was, and I'm not going to look it up, but I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed this episode together. So my score of this episode, I'm going to give this episode a 12 out of 10. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10, but I mean, really, it should be a 20 out of 10. This is one of the best episodes of Dexter. So you've heard me ramble long enough. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Dexter or Dexter New Blood, make sure you're smashing that like button. If you want to share this video with anybody that you know that likes Dexter or Dexter New Blood, or if you want to put this video on your social media platforms, please do so. Don't forget to sound off about your thoughts on the episode. What would you score it? Whom would be your male and female characters of the episode, and your favorite moment? Obviously, my favorite moment is the hello, Dexter Morgan. It sucks that we lost Christine Hill in this episode. Rest in peace, Christine Hill. And then last but certainly not least, you're watching the video, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And J-Dev will return.